contender. Most people on TikTok right now think, and this is episode 31, she shoots, she scores. Most people think that New York, and I guess this will start off my hot take. Most people think that the New York Liberty, the pulse of the street, feel like the New York Liberty are the team to beat in the finals. And they feel like, well, I'll make the case for them. Why? They almost set your single season record, Jordan. They
Almost.
have they have three players that were in MVP voting, and we'll get into the MVP voting in a second, Rob. Hopefully you saw that. So, and then the fact that
The secret sauce.
yeah, and the fact that they have the ability to play Las Vegas early. So if they play Vegas early, then it's like, okay, who else do they have to play a rematch against Minnesota, which I think they can still honestly match up against, but we'll see. But a lot of people feel like the New York Liberty are the team to beat. So that I will start off with that hot take.
I think they are the team to beat. I've kind of thought that all year. They've kind of proved it all year, leading the league with the best record. They have one of the three best players in the league. They have such a complete team, a veteran team, playoff experience, and they have Phoebish, who just went literally crazy yesterday. And I don't think that was necessarily a flukish game by Phoebish.
So
I,
and
I,
then,
I
go
think you're
keep
going to
going.
see that
That's what
again.
I was going to ask you about that too. So keep going.
I think you're going to see that again in the playoffs at some point. Um, I like her size. She makes them a bigger team over Vandersloot. But I like having Vandersloot in your back pocket too. Um, I don't think I mean, beating the Atlanta Dream isn't necessarily like, oh yeah, they're definitely win the championship now. The one seed against the eight seed, but yeah, I mean, everything, they're checking all the boxes for me. What do you think, Rob?
No, I agree. The only thing I kind of wish is that if we had the Washington Mystics as the eighth seed, this would have been a much more exciting matchup. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that the Mystics were going to knock out the Liberty, but I think that was a big move by Coach Brondello to be like, hey, Vandersloot, you've been our starter, you're the assist machine, but I think we're going to go with the rookie who nobody's really paid attention to except when your favorite team plays against us and you see her come off the bench getting threes, and she was a positive contributor. I know I've always said in the past on our show that I'm not a big stats person, and I'll maintain that for sure. But consider the fact that she got 21 points, which made her, I believe, the leading scorer for the Liberty. I know it's only game one, and to Jordan's point, this is not the greatest pulse because I would say if the Liberty advanced to the next round, then let's go see what happens. But it's a good harbinger for sure because I've seen, in the games against the Dallas Wings, she has been so deadly from the 3-point line. So it comes to no surprise to me. I think I'm more surprised by the fact that the Atlanta Dream could only string along 69 points, given how dogged they've been to get to the playoffs. And I don't know if maybe it's a case where yes, the Liberty are dominant, but I almost kind of wonder if the Dream are running out of gas at this point.
I think it was really good that Phoebich got that Olympic experience because playing against the United States, I think she was the starter for Germany, wasn't she? But like I know she played really well, at least uh, for a German point guards level, and I think it was a really good experience for her to kind of get to go up against that competition because I think it prepped her for what she's about to face.
Let me ask you this. So we can ask. I'll ask you this about this. Does the New York Liberty, do they look like clear favorites to win the chip after this game one against Atlanta?
I like Minnesota too. Minnesota looks good, man. These two teams, they look so solid and well rounded. I mean, we're like we'll get to Nafisa at some point, but man, these teams, dude, they're on a collision course, I think.
Who, New York and Minnesota?
Yeah.
That was everybody else's pick too. New York, Minnesota, New York, Minnesota. I'm going Vegas, Minnesota. Rob, who do you got for the finals?
I'm still gonna stick with Minnesota from what I said in midsummer, just because I feel like Cheryl Reeve has been on a mission to be like, hey, look, folks, we're the team that you have to talk about, which was what I think she said after they won the Commissioner's Cup game against the Liberty. So they have some experience beating a great team like that. But I almost have to say you have to consider the Las Vegas Aces. I know their ranking's not the greatest in the playoffs, but the way that Asia Wilson's been playing, the way that this team is starting to gel, I think it was just kind of a funky case where the team chemistry wasn't quite there for Aces levels, where I almost want to like back up from what I said and say I might change it and say the Las Vegas Aces could be a team to consider for the finals again, just because they got that experience. They got Asia Wilson. Their bench is pretty stacked. And I just like the position that they're in mentally and knowing that they've had this chip on their shoulder like, hey, you guys are counting us out. Have you forgot what we can do? Like, this is the team that takes things personally, whether from people like us, the mainstream media, or just their competitors. So,
do you think that Vegas was more impressive than Minnesota yesterday?
Well, let me ask you this, Bolt. Before you answer, they have a chance to play each other because they're on the opposite sides of the back bracket. So I'm going to assume that those are your finals picks.
Yeah, I think so for me. I mean, I think that's how I'm seeing it play out. I mean,
what was your question, Jordan?
Do you feel like Vegas was more impressive than Minnesota yesterday?
I think so from a comeback standpoint, because the Seattle Storm pretty much looked like they were pretty merciless with them. And I was thinking, oh, great. This is why the Aces are not amongst the top 3 teams. And then Asia Wilson, like you guys alluded to before we started, was Asia Wilson the unanimous MVP?
Yeah.
I mean, she came back. I was like, okay, kind of know that Minnesota is going to take care of business with Phoenix. And that's why, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. Nafisa Collier was saying, I hope we make her retire after game 2. I'm saying her as in DT. Yeah. But the fact that the Aces were so perseverant and we're like, we're not worried. We're in Michelob Ultra Arena. We're in our home court. We're not worried. Even if the deficit looks bad, I can't change my mind on that.
Yeah, okay. So the question again, one more time, Jordan, for me, because I want to answer it. And Brittany, you just got on. For everybody that's on TikTok, how y'all doing, everybody? Shout out to everybody that's on TikTok. We'll open up the line soon, but y'all can keep going. Will you repeat the question one more time?
Do you feel like Vegas was more impressive than Minnesota? Yes, after watching the games yesterday.
On Reau.
I'll answer that question right after I allude to this clip that Rob was talking about from Fee.
So I feel lucky to have been able to play with her on Team USA and against her, and hopefully we can end her career on Wednesday.
Talking about ending DT's career on Wednesday. So to continue now, do I feel Vegas was more impressive than Minnesota? The answer is Asia Wilson is always the answer. So the answer for me is yes. So I'm going to go with a simple yes. And I'm going to take a sip of this high-quality H2O.
I'm going to take a sip of this high-quality sweet tea.
If you ever seen the water boy. Yes. The reason why I'm absolutely going with Vegas was more impressive is because they played a better team in the Seattle Storm who are literally built to beat this Las Vegas Aces team. Now, I want y'all to take a look at the y'all say I like y'all know how I like numbers, right? So we're gonna go to the straight to the stats. So Jordan, the MVP, the unanimous MVP, first time since Cynthia Cooper, one of your favorite hoopers, to win it unanimously, right? One of only three people to win 3 MVPs, and she's the only person to do it in 7 years. So I'm gonna continue. She's ranked at number 2, but I'm gonna continue. So the reason why I brought her up is because she's the only person ranked defensively, and these are defensive rating metrics for individuals. You see, Dejanay Carrington's at number 7, DeWanna Bonner's at number 8. We're gonna continue. Number 9, even though Ezzy didn't play, she's ranked number 9. We'll scroll down. NECA, who's ranked at number 11. Jordan Horston, ranked at number 13. We're going to continue down to one of the best point guards in the game, Skylar Diggins-Smith, On offense, she's top 5 in assists. Defense, she's top 20.
What are you trying to tell me?
I'm trying to tell you, in addition with Jewel Lloyd, I'm telling you that this team was built. This team was built to beat this Las Vegas Aces team. So when Noelle Quinn says, hey, we want to play against them, and the fact that they still were able to snuff out a win, it says a lot. It says a lot. It's saying, hey, we took your best shot, and you're still not good enough. So when I say which one is more impressive, I'm absolutely going with the Aces because Asia Wilson is the answer. And simply put, I mean, like I said, I think it'll be them in Minnesota, which will be a great game to watch. But I'm definitely going to go with I want to read Country's comment. I definitely want to go with the Aces. Randy, I'll let you go on that one too, though.
I'm going to agree with you somewhat, but I can't agree with you all the way because all season long we've seen like Asia Wilson has been the answer all season long. And it feels like everybody's just, it's not that they're not good, it's just, it's not clicking. When Asia gets the ball, they win, right? When you watched like I didn't get to watch the game, but I was watching like the play-by-play. Seattle was making it like other people were scoring, like the ball was filtering. But when the game's not played through Asia, excuse me, it's an ugly game for them. It's not it doesn't resemble past years. They're still lacking to me. If they're gonna win it, they have to play through Asia. That's as simple as that.
Let me also add this in because Tiffany Hayes also came. She played amazing. She had 20. Like this team, you now. I ain't gonna say it. I'm not. I'll continue. But from this game, I'll say this: the Aces guards, Jackie Young, she played well. Chelsea, it was a team effort. Chelsea Gray played well. She had I believe she had 16 and 9. Jackie Young had double figures. Asia Wilson had 15 in the third, and then she finished it out getting 20. She had 20 plus in the fourth. Like they just went off, huh?
She had 4 blocks.
Yes, and then yes. So they went in, and I'll read some of these. Country Notary put, "Hey guys, Minnesota was very impressive. I agree. That game was amazing too. Vegas played well and improved both scoring and defense in their yes in the second half. They picked it up, and in that fourth quarter, like Seattle had 2 points in the fourth quarter from free throws, and then that's it. They picked it up." So for me, it's more impressive that Asia Wilson in the Storm. I mean, I'm sorry, they just handled a team that was built to beat them. I think that series will go 3. I think it'll go 3, but I think absolutely that the Vegas Aces will win that series and they'll play New York in the next series.
Were the Aces your pick to win the championship?
I'll say this: it's between them and Minnesota. I don't want to like bet against Las Vegas because that's why I asked you the question. Would you bet your salary against Asia? Probably not.
Asia the field. I mean,
probably.
Can you? It's just. I mean, I think Randy in general is right. Like you gotta play through Asia, but I mean, even Asia Wilson's a human being. Like, man, I mean, you gotta. I mean, she's gonna put up crazy numbers, crazy usage, crazy defense, rebounding, scoring. Her jump shot has to be, on point. I mean, can she beat the New York Liberty 3 out of 5 times? Because that's what it's gonna take.
It's gonna take everybody else, but that's why I'm about to pull up the box score.
I mean, they said the same thing about Westbrook, but Westbrook continues to play the same way he plays. And I feel like even if Asia is off, she attracts so much defensively that just playing through your best player is naturally going to make it easier for the rest of them to play well.
So you got some of these.
Go ahead.
You go. No, you go.
No, I'm saying as a big, when you're skilled, you just naturally attract. The defenders naturally need to help their player because if you're dominating on the offensive end, which means whoever's guarding you is struggling or whatever defensive scheme that they have going on isn't necessarily working on you. So they're going to naturally want to help more and more. So even if her jump shot's off, I believe Asia's the type of player to know, I'm not hitting my shots. Let me attack the rim. Okay, we know they're doubling off that. Let me kick it out to somebody else that could potentially make the right play. She's not a selfish player.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this: who do you think has the better bench? So Miss Notary, I appreciate that. Or Country Notary put Minnesota and New York have far better bench players than the Aces. So who do you think? Do you think that? What do you think about that comment?
New York and
It's
who?
not totally inaccurate, I don't think, because of the
Mm,
fact that, I mean, New York, consider the fact if you're going to have Phoebich starting amongst your bench, you have
Vandersloot.
Vandersloot. I mean, how awesome is that to have her as an experienced starter now coming off the bench, and she could be a playmaker. Kennedy Payne's off the bench too, I think, right? She's one of those players that could, and Kayla Thornton could be up there too. I mean, New York's bench has been so talented, so I think that could be a threat. And then Minnesota's bench, I mean, that team has been so impressive all season long to me. I mean, if you're looking at their bench, it's crazy to think that you have Heidemann that comes off the bench,
I know,
Maisha
right?
Hines-Allen, Zandalicini. I mean, if Zandalicini goes on a streak, and she's a streaky player, but when she's hot coming off the three, I mean, I don't want to guard against her. She's a thorn on people's sides with how she can score off like that. So I mean, and if you want some physicality, I mean, is it Pilly? The rookie
Pilly.
pick that they had this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pilly could be a contributor too. I mean, she doesn't get enough
She
playing
didn't
time,
play yesterday
unfortunately.
though.
A better question: would you? Okay, so
Barely like a cup of coffee.
they do have the better benches. So would you? Okay, would you rather have the starting lineup of the Aces or the benches of the other teams?
Dude, I was thinking the same question.
Because I'm like, at the end of the day, I'd rather give me the lineup with Wilson in it.
Who has the best starting
Oh, yeah.
five out of all these teams? Like, which team has the best starting five? Would you say?
Wilson in it? Like that's the it's
Probably,
the answer.
yeah.
That's the answer. I'm sorry.
Probably.
Like, until because she's playing at such a level. Like there's the one with Wilson in it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like the level she's playing at, it just surpasses her peers at this moment. So until they could kind of just close that gap.
Wow,
she's at
KP
a
went
30
1 for 8.
She's at a
I
35.
know.
Everybody else is in the 20s still. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it's not even close. It's not even close. It's not even close.
Bro, how do you go 1 for 8, 0 for 4 from 3, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and have a plus-minus a +9? That's how you know that stat is bullshit.
Why you say that? Well, yeah. But plus,
I don't like the plus-minus either because it's just a false telltale sign of how
Plus-minus,
a player
PER, all these stats are
Yeah.
just
right.
Yeah. I mean,
points.
you could be like the
Rebounds. I know. Blocks,
You know.
steals, any metric.
well,
the
it's like
the measurable things.
well, it's like
Bigger.
being in a school group project, right? And you have the laziest kid who does nothing. They're probably playing on their Xbox, while like you and your friends or your classmates are, you're working your asses off, and then everyone gets an A. That's what the plus-minus means to me. So it's total bull. I don't like it.
But it's not true. Because at the end of the day, if you play defense, you affect the box score. You affect the plus-minus. If you don't play defense,
I mean, yeah, that's true. But I mean,
that's how they pick
the performance. The box score that I can see for the stat line for Kelsey Plum, it looks a little too eerily to what I had seen against the Dallas Wings late in August when the Wings were able to come back and beat them, unlike the Seattle Storm who were unable to go and beat them. Because I think A'ja Wilson went off on the Wings. She had like 41 points, but like no one else was able to step it up. So to Randy's point, I mean, yeah, A'ja Wilson is the best player on the planet. I think none of us will disagree on that. But like, if she's the only one contributing, and let's just say that, Tiffany Hayes didn't get those 20 points, or Jackie Young didn't get 12 points. She only had 3 or 4. We're talking about a different outcome altogether. We're just going to say Wilson's great, but this is going to reaffirm how the Aces are just not the same team that we've seen the last couple of years. So they're a great team. It's kind of a lucky win, but I wouldn't say lucky in terms of like, they're a really crappy team. It's kind of, this is the same thing we see in game 2. I'm almost gonna have to say the road to get to the finals with them playing New York more than likely. I hate to be the contrarian. I have to think New York would be the one I'd have to, focus my sights on.
Okay, so it'd be New York versus. So you're gonna pick New York to upset them.
I mean, it's kind of a shame that this is not our finals this year, because I think that's what everybody in this room wants to see, right? They want to see a rematch of last year's finals.
No, I don't want to see that. I want to see New York or Minnesota. I'm happy that they matched up now because then we get to see who's going to play. I'm happy that there is a chance of a new champion. I'm glad that there's
Yeah, I
not
mean, that
in the
will
same
happen.
finals. I'm happy. I'm honestly happy about that. Seriously, like when it was playing, I don't want to see the same finals 4 times. Randy, what you think, bro?
I was gonna say,
And then we're gonna move on to our next
Asians
topic. Y'all
gotta
good?
do the heavy carry. Huh?
I said then we're gonna
You
move
said
on to
what?
our next topic. You good?
Okay, well, I was gonna make 2 points. If Asia's gonna have to do the heavy lifting, it's I don't know, man, because she did it in the middle of the season and she got hurt. And it's like you don't want your best player to have to constantly carry or initiate and be just this. I don't agree with it. But to also, if you look at Jackie Young's basically box score, only a 3-minute difference in playing time. She went 5 for 13, 2 for 4. They both went 0 for 0 on free throws. Offensive rebounds, Jackie. Defensive, Jackie. Rebounds, general assists down the board. But when you get to turnovers and personal fouls, Kelsey Plum had 2 turnovers, 3 personal fouls, and she's a +9 with 2 points, rather than Jackie Young with 1 turnover, 3 personal fouls, and she's a -4, contributing 12 points. So I was just saying, like, I do, because the intangibles do matter, but that plus minus sometimes be BS, bro.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on the plus minus.
No one missed a free throw last night.
Ironically enough, 11 of
I
11.
hate when that's the deciding factor sometimes, because
It's a smart game though.
11 points.
Speaking
It's a
speaking
smart
of
game.
okay, y'all keep going, but I want to go keep going. But I was gonna say, speaking of points, if y'all did you see what Nafisa Collier did last night?
That's some company, bro.
Yeah, so she recorded 38 last night in this opening debut of the playoffs. She WNBA players that have recorded 35 points, 5+ rebounds, 4+ assists, joining one of her childhood idols, Maya Moore.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on this game? Obviously, Phoenix came back in the fourth quarter. Bridget, I don't know if y'all saw this. Bridget Carlton with a huge dagger late, to just close the door. I'm gonna see if I got that clip here for everybody. But what were your thoughts on this game? Do you feel like Phoenix can obviously take a win in this series, or do you feel like Minnesota is vulnerable? What were your thoughts on this game? I'm about to pull up this 3 for y'all right now. Here, y'all go. Yeah, anybody who want to go? I mean,
I think that.
go
Go ahead, Jordan.
No. Go.
I think it's going to be Minnesota series to win. I mean, it's not because they're home. To me, Phoenix started off pretty decently. We had Kalia Copper just setting the role on fire with her scoring pace and just how, she was saying to everyone, I'm a dog, I'm great. And she was. And then she kind of cooled off towards the second half of the season, whereas Minnesota really hasn't. They haven't really slowed down to me, in my opinion. I mean, and a lot of that has to do with someone like a Bridget Carleton. I mean, she's been so indelible to their success. She may not get the most points out there, but she's kind of like a Steve Kerr to me for the Lynx, where if you need that timely 3, that timely basket, she comes through. So I'm totally not surprised. I know everyone is going to say it's Collier's team, and it is. It's totally her team. But Carrollton does the little things that when you need that shot, and say Collier doesn't have the open lanes, the Canadian player is going to come through, and she's going to show why she is prime time ready to be going to the final. So I think Minnesota's going to the next round.
Okay,
I can't believe this game got so close.
Yeah.
I know.
Because when I caught maybe 2.5, 3/4 of it. And I think Phoenix was up at like 14, 16 points. I mean, not Phoenix. Minnesota was up at like 16 points. And then, I don't know, like, it looks like Phoenix just got back into it. But yeah, that was a big shot by Carlton at the end. I mean, Minnesota's such a balanced team. I mean, I love Courtney Williams, man. She's such a all-around balanced player. She's so good. Collier, man, 38 points. I mean, she was just getting everything, and she's got such a good touch, and she's just a superstar. she's a superstar. I can't see Phoenix winning another game. I think this is going to end in game 2.
I think this will also be a 2-game sweep. This been a Brittany Griner got to help them a lot. She had a rough start. But I'm not honestly worried about BG. I think she'll pick it up for game 2. But I think honestly, it's just Minnesota. The fact that they're able to stretch the floor, and it's just Fee is just so versatile, and she has the ability to do so much. So it's like when you're watching this game, what more can you expect, and what more can you do? It's been rough, and it's been a good series. It's been a good run minute play. Yeah, I'm sorry, Phoenix.
Speaking of BG, do you feel like BG's in shape right now?
It doesn't. I mean, why would that matter? She about to be, 1, 2, 3 Cancun. It don't matter.
I know, but does it look like she's in shape to you?
Yeah, I mean, she can play. She's bigger now. She's like, you know what I'm saying? She's big. BG is not. BG is a big woman. She's 6'8".
It's hard to move when you're 6'9" and move like at the swiftness of shorter.
And
players.
she coming off of a foot. So it's like she's big. BG is big. So
I know she's big, but I don't know.
You don't think she's in shape?
I don't think so. I think she's a little slow.
6'6".
I mean, how you expect her to be that spry coming off of a foot injury?
I don't expect her to be 23-year-old Brittany Griner, but I'm just looking at her, like she doesn't look, like kind of like what you'd expect from a defensive player like herself.
They were speaking about her on our TikTok live last night, and I was just listening. And I was like, okay, well, y'all tell me what y'all see with BG.
What were they saying?
She had 10 points. They're saying things I'm not gonna repeat.
I know. TikTok is the wild west.
Yeah, but yeah. So, but in regards to that, I'm just like, I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, I disagree with their takes. Like, I disagree with their takes. Like, if I could in the PG where they're saying she's unskilled, and then I'm like, how could you say she's unskilled if she's still again top 6 in PER? There you go with these numbers, and then she has the ability to change the game defensively.
Yes,
makes you have the ability to slow down the game, which is why Phoenix was able to come back, even though Minnesota did what they did, was just scoring 100 points. So, and that's what I'm saying. Like with this Vegas thing, if Vegas could just find a way to score, that's what I'm not gonna. I mean, again, I'm not picking against Vegas yet. But Minnesota has a really good chance of winning this thing because they have that ability to get 100 points with the bench players that both of you mentioned. And it was a good. This is gonna be a good series, but it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be going 2-0, and Phoenix will put up a good fight, but they just got to do more. So it is what it is.
What do you think, Randy?
I think every time I watch Phoenix play, they get some good success playing through your big, and you kind of have to. It just makes more sense. You don't want your biggest threat defensively running up and down the court, exhausting themselves. You kind of want to slow the game down, take shots, not long rebounds. Because I forgot what game I was watching last week with Phoenix, bro. Brittany Griner had 11, and all of a sudden she ended up with 21, just off of simple pick and rolls, and no one stopping her downhill.
That was probably Dallas.
When she has her back to the basket, she just looks left and right. She's making the right plays, or she's doing a simple hook. Like no one's blocking that. So to move away from she had what of the starting 5, she had the second least amount of attempts at the rim, and to me that doesn't make sense with your big on the floor. Like you wouldn't do it to Shaq. That's a dominating big with not a lot of people to stop her. The only way that they stop her, they double team and she trips up, like from what I've seen. But Minnesota's got it. Like they're too well rounded.
Yeah, they do.
Like that's the only that's Phoenix's only hope. Like you got to slow the ball down and control the pace. Minnesota's it's not an overwhelming presence, but it can be when they're moving and clicking. Like you got to watch out for them.
I can't disagree. I mean,
1, 2, 3 Cancun.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a good year, Phoenix. Enjoy that. Enjoy that weather. It's all good. Y'all ran into a buzzsaw. They're good. When are they announcing Rookie of the Year? Rodney asked. I've been waiting on the email all day and night. I've been waiting on that email. So we already got MVP. They announced that yesterday. Shout out to Braden, longtime caller. Long-time listener as well. But yeah, we have what we talking about. Funny enough, we're gonna talk about the Indiana Fever. That's funny that you right on time. That's hilarious that you say that. I was just getting ready to bring them up, but we are gonna talk about the Indiana Fever. I wanted to get your takes during the game. What were your thoughts about this? More okay. So better question: do you feel like the playoff experience of the Connecticut Sun was the direct reason for their dominance in this game? What are your thoughts about this series? Who do you have taking it? Et cetera, et cetera. Pause, so on and so forth. What are your thoughts about the series?
I think the Connecticut Sun, as long as they're the host team, Mohegan Sun Arena is going to be a nightmare for Caitlin Clark because other than the time she scored 20 points in her rookie debut, it's been a nightmare arena for her. I mean, the second time she played there was when she was infamously, along with most of the starters, taken out in the third quarter by Coach Sides. And then last night, I mean, Dejanay Carrington has been living rent-free in her mind as a nightmare to her defensively. I don't think it's just the experience of the Connecticut Sun, although experience goes a long ways. We can't dismiss the fact that this Connecticut Sun are a really skillful team. I said it before on many episodes how I view the Connecticut Sun as a fairly defensive-minded team. And I know you've mentioned in the past, DJ, how the league is moving towards a more offensive push towards things. And I think the big difference for the Connecticut Sun since the last time I've really seen them is Marina Mabry. From Notre Dame, she has been such an explosive catalyst off the bench. I mean, 27 points. She was 9 for 20 from the field, 5 for 12 from the 3-point line, perfect from the charity stripe, 4 for 4. And she was able to showcase the stuff that we folks in Dallas miss because it was her and Enrique kind of doing things before after their years in Notre Dame. And I was thinking, man, we could have used her in Dallas, but Dawana Bonner also has been really terrific.
Yeah.
And the one player we were showing her right now, Dejanay Carrington is just, she is so incredible as a defensive player and also offensively too. We can't forget that. When you, again, kind of like what I said about Carrollton, when you need that timely shot, she gets it for you. Although they didn't need too many timely shots because Connecticut really early on established that they are not going to back down. They don't care about, oh, Caitlin's here, the Fever are here. And I love the fact they're intimidating the team too. I mean, I think during the game, they were even teasing the fans in the Fever shirt saying, bandwagon fan since 2024, which I thought was pretty comical. And obviously,
do you guys think this is a bad
matchup
fans... for the Fever?
Not really, but
it's probably the worst outcome for them.
Braden says he disagrees. Braden says he disagrees, and I mean that's literally in a nutshell what he's put. But I'll say this, if I could just add, because the matchup I don't think is like the worst. Do you think that there's a better matchup?
No, I mean just like in a like Connecticut Sun versus the Fever, like player for player. Like, do you think this is just a bad, personnel matchup?
I mean no, but what I'm asking you is, do you feel like there's a better playoff matchup for them? That's what I'm saying. That
no.
That's to your question.
No. I think they might all be bad matchups.
Even in this match.
So then that means they're not a good team. But
I just think every team above them is a better team. That's
that's
all
true.
it means.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, you've got a point.
Rodney put the Fever are gonna win their next game, and that's all I wanted to. I'll go with my point next. So yeah, I'm gonna go with my point next. So Rob, what do you think? So you think it's gonna be a sweep? Absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, absolutely going to be a sweep. I'm not saying they're going to get massacred like they did in Game 1. Obviously, like any team that loses, they're going to make adjustments. It's just not going to be enough because this team, even as much as Caitlin has, changed, her game's grown, it's gotten better. Connecticut has figured out how to guard her. If it's not Carrington that's guarding her, they'll put Dawana Bonner on her. And that seemed to work. They clamped down on her. So I think, Connecticut is just too difficult for them right now. They're kind of like the Detroit Pistons to the Chicago Bulls, if I want to put that narrative out there. They were kind of like that one team that's going to stymie a young upstart team like that. So, yeah, it's going to be a clean sweep.
Randy, what do you think? It's 2-0, 2-0.
I would agree. No, it's a clean sweep. Connecticut plays like you probably remember this, Shikari. You remember back in Barry?
Yeah,
Remember Ed? How he
yeah.
played? Like, there's this guy. They'd play intramural football, and it's a team full of old men where everybody knows the rightful position, and they play that position to 100%. So no matter how athletic, how young, how spry a team was, they couldn't necessarily defeat them because not only did they have experience, but everyone was bought into their role, and that's what I feel like Connecticut has. Like, granted, Fever have the opportunity to be a team that we need to look out for in the future, but now is not the time for it.
Jordan, you think they get in the
What
game?
they're doing?
Oh, my fault, my
Everyone
fault.
bought into that system, huh?
No, my fault, my fault.
You said what?
Keep going,
Keep
keep going.
going.
I didn't know what you were saying about Brandon. My fault.
No, they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna make the adjustment, bro. I feel like people are still necessarily figuring out their roles, but I don't think it's not gonna be enough to defeat them. Right? So
They get in the game, Jordan?
I mean, it all comes down to like the only way they win a game is if Connecticut misses a bunch of shots and Indiana makes a bunch of shots. That's the only way it's even close. Caitlin Clark can't play any worse, right? I mean, no, well, she probably could, I mean, she can't shoot any worse, Kelsey Mitchell can't really shoot any worse. Lexi Hall was usually not involved in the offense, and Boston can play. But they just have to put on a bunch more points. Shots just literally have to fall in, and Connecticut has to miss a bunch of shots. Marina Babry, how many points did she have? What, 27 or something like that?
And
Yeah,
remember,
off the bench.
There was a lot. Yeah.
Off the bench and scores more
I
than
mean,
17.
that's about as well as she can, almost as good as she can shoot. So, but that's the only way that that the Fever steal a game, and even then, it's like, Connecticut's so much more experienced. They're a tougher team. DeWanna Bonner has enough length to bother Caitlin Clark a little bit. Dejanay Carrington is just spectacular. Alyssa Thomas, just haven't even talked about her yet. When she rolled her ankle or whatever, she got up from that, and they asked her at the end of the game. She said she was fine. So, assuming all that stays pretty much the same, I can't really see them winning a game unless every shot falls.
So I'll go. So I can see him winning, and I picked them to win the series. So I'm not giving up faith now. And from Jump Street, if y'all everybody on TikTok, y'all have heard this tape. So I'll say this: I expected, and this is before the series, I expected Connecticut to start game one, punch him in the mouth. Caitlin obviously got poked in the eye. Had some physical violence. She did. She got poked in the eye.
Yeah, I know.
During the game. She also, she did the same thing with Dejanay when she got her with the elbow, etc. But what ended up happening was in the midst of this is her first playoff game. So she's playing a rival, just like her first regular season game was against the Sun. Now, what I thought from Jump Street is that they would ultimately lose game one. But what I think and what I predicted to happen, prognosticate, etc., was that I thought that they're going to keep game two close. And I'll go into some reasons for encouragement. Now, obviously, the Fever, they played terrible. Like, they scored 69 points. You know what I'm saying, on offense when they're supposed to be scoring a lot of offense. And then they let somebody off the bench score almost 30 points, right? Now, if they can, I guess, minimize Marina's impact where she's not scoring 27, maybe she gets 14, 15 points, and they can get some defensive stops to not let DeWanna Bonner go off for 20. But this is some room for encouragement, right? They only hit 6 threes. They attempted 28. So I'm gonna ask you again, if you feel like the Indiana Fever are gonna go 6 of 28 again, that's not gonna happen. They're gonna shoot better from three. So they'll put up more they'll put up more points, they'll put up more threes, right? Now, with that being said, you got this point guard. I'm talking about Caitlin now. 11 points, 8 assists. I told y'all TikTok's heard this. I told y'all from Jump Street, if she's not putting up a 20-10 double-double, they have no chance of winning this series. I think she's capable of doing something like that. I think with these adjustments that she'll make for game two, that they'll keep it close. And I feel like, hey, if you let the referees or whoever make a decision with the last 5 minutes to go, and you just keep the game close, and you do what you need to do, you let the chips fall and let them make a decision, or whoever make a decision. You never know what may happen, right? Now, I'm gonna say this: if Connecticut manages to lose and they go to Gamebridge Fieldhouse, and this is what I'm saying because it's game 3 on the road, I'll let y'all
Oh
go.
my goodness.
Wait. No, I'll let y'all go. What are you gonna say?
Go finish your
Finish this
your
dumbass take.
really
Finish this
good.
dumbass take.
I feel like if they go to
Yeah, let's go here.
I feel like if they go to Gamebridge Fieldhouse, they're gonna win game 3 on the road. Absolutely,
Probably.
because they're gonna be playing at home with 20,000 people behind her. But what were you gonna say?
Do you feel like Caitlin Clark's shot wasn't falling because she couldn't see out of one eye?
I mean, that could be a part of it. What you think? You get hit in the eye in the first quarter. I mean, like she had a black eye, but I don't know. That could be a part of it. But I mean, if you hoop, you like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't. Regardless if you hoop, you're not gonna care if it does bug you because you're gonna just say, okay, it's muscle memory. But y'all tell me. I mean, like obviously it's gonna play a factor. But
Did you ever hear that story about how Steph Curry, up until like 6-7 years ago, his like vision wasn't 20/20, and then he got his eyes corrected?
That's funny.
Did you ever hear that? Like, bro, he became the GOAT shooter and not being able to see that well.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I had no clue about
Go ahead, Randy. I want to hear what you got to say.
But yeah, I think
I
they're gonna
believe
get a
it's
game.
muscle memory, man. Like Jabari, you played enough basketball to know that. Like
Absolutely.
Caitlin Clark has taken shots and practiced since she was a young girl. At some point, if like we've seen it with other players like Dwayne Wade. When Dwayne Wade sees the blood, yeah, like sometimes I've been hurt, I jammed a finger, and I've shot better because
True.
it's like you gotta push through it. Like if unfortunately she's being looked as the number one, so there's a lot of responsibilities that come with that number one. It can make or break people, but with her, I've like so far this whole season, she's been like walking the walk. So the adjustment needs to be made. It's basketball. It's a basketball play. It's a basketball move. It didn't look intentional. So it's literally all muscle memory. Like it's an excuse to me.
It said so most of her shots were short, like way off. Or if they're short, that means she's just tired. But at the end of the season, we're not hearing all that. But these were her defenders, primary defenders. DeWanna Bonner, I got to go back to my numbers. Got to go back to the numbers because these things matter. These things matter. So again, DeWanna Bonner guarding her 2 of 9. She shot terribly, 22%, and she shot. Her shot was a little closer, but she still shot terribly. The fact again, the rest of the team, she didn't have a bad shooter. Yeah, she was in the seatbelt. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
so
DeWanna Bonner got to lift up her shirt. Let her know she ain't got a gun.
She was in the seatbelt first game, but that's what happens. But things change. It don't always stay like that because you remember she beat this team, so it's not like she can't beat them. So just keep that in mind. So we'll see. Game two is on Wednesday. Either it'll be her last game this season or it won't be. I'm gonna pick that it won't be.
It will be, unfortunately. I mean,
we'll see.
We all want to see. Most people want to see. I know a lot of her fans are probably not going to like that opinion, but I don't think so.
I mean, I want to see Caitlin go as far as she can.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I want to see in the next
basketball
round,
fans want to.
The round after that. It'll help grow the game, but I don't think it doesn't look like it's going to happen, Jabari.
Fever.
No, I don't think so.
I got you, Rob. I hear you. Well, we'll see. I'm going to read this for Ms. Notary. The Fever best in transition. So since the Sun was hitting so many shots, it limited them. Exactly. So what if they're not scoring that much?
Speaking of which, bro, what was up with this fucking shot clock?
Oh, yeah, that's another thing she talked about. That she was like, "What's going on?
What the hell?
Yeah.
This ghetto Mohegan Sun, like
this was not the play. This is not the play.
Alyssa Thomas is just as dangerous, bro.
You said what? Now Alyssa Thomas is playing.
Alyssa Thomas is dangerous moving that rock, bro. Yeah, you said it earlier this season. Like, Caitlin Clark is too slow laterally. Like, kudos to DeWanna Bonner playing great defense, but I believe the younger players in the league would have cooked her. Like, Caitlin Clark is just not. Hey, chips ain't fall for her. Sorry.
Mod me. Who is winning game 2? They saying so. They agreeing with TikTok agreeing with me. TikTok saying. I think they saying the Fever gonna win game 2. Hey, said Caitlin been in the slump. Let me see. I'm reading. Yeah, he said fever. He said fever winning game 2.
Why?
Actually-
Like, what's the reasoning?
What's the reason? They said what's the reason? Every reason that I said. Every reason I said they said fever. I told y'all fever winning game. I told you I got fever game 2. What are you gonna say about? I'm crazy.
I'm not
One,
gonna
two,
say you're
three,
crazy,
game,
but
one,
I'm
two,
gonna
three,
say
game
that
2,
Caitlin.
fever.
The thing I'm starting to see some trends that we saw towards the end of the first half of the season is that once we get further and further and further into a year or a segment of the season, Caitlin's numbers start to fall. I mean, her 3-point numbers are not the greatest. Yeah, she had that great game against Dallas, but I mean, and I know I'm not going to consider the game against Washington because they pretty much there's nothing to gain from that game. But if you think about how she performed against Las Vegas, she was relatively shut down too. I mean, she didn't score her 20 points that we normally expect her now to do. So I mean, I'm not gonna give her the excuse that she's a rookie because, like Randy said, we're gonna view her as the number one. She's a professional now at this point. So I mean, Connecticut, yeah, she beat them once, but they've beaten her every other time since. To the point that Coach Sides got so frustrated with her and the starters' plays that she's like, you know what? I don't care if people spent good money on you to play this game. You're not doing your job. Get the hell out. You're going to sit on the bench. I don't care if these girls are saying we want Caitlin. No, you didn't do your job. You didn't come to perform.
Braden said they should have won game 3. That's what his response was to you. They should have won game 3 though. And then he said, "What are your co-hosts gonna say when they win game 2? Oh, they got lucky. It was really close." He said. And then Modney put Mabry the reason they won. Huh?
I mean, if they win, it's because their shots fall. Like
Right.
it might be that simple. You know, it's a make or miss league. That's what Stan Van Gundy says.
Yeah.
Teams
Where you
don't
gonna
like being swept, so they're gonna play desperate because they have to play desperate. Otherwise,
Yep.
it's Cancun 1, 2, 3. So
Yeah.
Or Cabo.
what happens, you play extra hard. You don't care about being tired. Everybody does it. Like every team does it.
He said the Sun are gonna be 50% behind the arc in the next game. That's what he said. The Sun are gonna be 50% behind the arc in the next game. That's what I mean. I'm just reading the comments, and shout out to everybody on YouTube. Let us know in the chat. What do y'all think? Do y'all feel like the Fever are gonna get a game? Everybody on YouTube, do y'all feel like the Fever are going to get a game? I got Jordan says no. Rob says no.
So
Randy says no. I say yes.
Like victims, bro. You cannot in a playoff game. Oh, someone's calling it. I believe in a playoff game, you cannot play like a victim. You have to play like the aggressor. That's the only way you survive. It's a every playoff series and every league across the world becomes immediately more competitive once thing is on the line. Like we've seen it. We've seen LeBron turn into a different person once the playoffs. Chris Paul, every great player turns up.
40 piece in the college. You've seen it already.
Chris Paul turns into a great player in the
Where her
playoffs.
rings? Show me her rings in college.
That means she don't turn up because she didn't get a ring. Jerry West didn't turn up.
She ain't turning
Jerry
up.
West didn't turn up. Allen Iverson didn't turn up. You're gonna tell me Allen Iverson didn't turn up?
They didn't turn up enough, brother.
Who?
They didn't turn up enough.
Allen
Turned up for
Iverson
one
didn't
game.
turn up enough? Who didn't turn up enough?
Iverson did what he had to do, but it wasn't enough.
Iverson dropped a 40 piece in the Lakers' house.
Did you see games 2, 3, 4, and 5? Did you see games 2, 3, 4, and 5?
Against 2 top 10 players of all time. That's what he did.
Okay,
he didn't turn
that's
up.
Great.
And he the only one that beat them the whole in the whole playoffs.
Bro, I'm not discrediting anything that they're saying.
He didn't turn up.
Okay. Ant-Man had a great playoff run, bro.
Of course he did. So that don't mean she can't have. Why can't she turn up? Huh?
I'm not saying she can't, but I just don't believe it's going to be enough for this team, bro.
We're gonna see.
Connecticut Sun. I mean, I keep saying Connecticut Sun, bro. The Connecticut, they play like a team. They play like from the beginning of the season. They've looked good. Like everybody.
They know who they are. They know who they are.
Exactly. How are you gonna take that away from them, bro?
Yeah, they know who they are. I feel like the Fever on some levels still don't really know who they are. Like they don't know the best way to win a basketball game if their shots aren't falling.
But that's where experience comes into place because that's an experience thing. Like you've been in that position before. With the Fever, it's been an up and down season for them. They started off really slow. They started getting really hot, but I still don't think they know their true identity of like when the crunch time is here, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna try to go to. Like, it's just not there yet. It's nothing against them. It's just not there yet.
Speaking of not there yet, what are your thoughts on this list, y'all? You can talk your ish. Talk your ish. Angel Reese got MVP votes. It's all good. That's it. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's fair.
I want to. That's it. That is fair.
Rob, you think that it's fair that Angel Reese got a 4th place MVP vote? You think that? You really think that?
I think so. I mean, honestly, let me put it this way, kind of playing devil's advocate, and not because of J Boog or anyone like that likes the Sky. Honestly, when Angel played out there, she was the difference maker for why the Sky were even in playoff contention in the first place.
Because the moment she was MVP out, vote.
I mean, in this year, I mean, she should have been. If you want to ask my opinion, if I had a vote, I wouldn't give her a 1st or 2nd place vote. I would have given her a 3rd place vote at the highest, because to me, this was A'ja Wilson's season. I think we can all agree on that. And then I would have put, it would have been a toss up between Collier or Stewie. But for 3rd, I mean, yeah, you want me to say Caitlin? I'm not going to. I'm going to say Angel, because
you don't have to say Caitlin. You don't have to say Caitlin.
To me, I think Angel was a difference maker, because the moment she got hurt, unfortunately, that was the end of the great story for the Sky being able to be the 8th place team that could have been in the playoffs. And that would have been a pretty interesting matchup between New York and them. Again, New York would pretty much...
Why do you say we want you to say Caitlin?
I mean, this show's pretty much Caitlin shoots, Caitlin Clark scores. But I mean,
I but that's good, funny. Keep going.
No, but I'm just teasing you. No, but I mean,
listen, when Caitlin Clark shoots, she doesn't always score.
Right.
But I mean, okay, I'm partly ragging on you, DJ. But no, I mean, the reason why I'm gonna say Angel over Caitlin for a 3rd place vote, I guess, again, I mean, Caitlin, we all kind of know what she could do. We all expect, that's why she's the number 1 pick, right? Because we know that she's an offensive minded player. We can all agree defensively. I know you have your stats. You're not like my opinion about, oh, she's not a great defensive player. Randy and Jordan and we've always been on the consistent agreement that
I hear you, Brayden.
She's gotten better, but she could be better.
Yeah.
But where Angel's really great at, I mean, we already know she's a great rebounder, right? And the fact that all she has to work on is some of her offensive skills, but to get them in playoff contention, it's a travesty, unfortunately, that she got injured with her wrist, and we were deprived of what could have been an awesome, story for the Chicago Sky to be there with a team that was pretty banged up. And kind of like Randy said and Jordan said about the Fever, I feel like the Sky kind of don't know who they are either, but they were doing the impossible, which was being in playoff position. Once she was gone, unfortunately, that was it. I mean, I love Camila Cardoso, but Angel Reese is certainly, she was a great story, so I would have given her a 3rd place vote.
So you think that she had a better year? So if you put her 3rd, that means that only 2 people definitively had a better year than Angel Reese and should be voted higher than her in the MVP rankings. Therefore, Collier or Stewie did not have as good a year as Angel Reese did. If you
I was saying that I would say that Stewie and Collier would be a toss-up. To me, I mean, again, Stewie had a dominant year, but Collier had a year that if Wilson, we said this before, if Wilson wasn't in the running, we would have given this to Napisa Collier to be the MVP. Because to me, and this is no discredit to Stewie, I kind of expect those numbers from her. She's a dominant player. She's won championships in college. We kind of knew that she was going to carry that success over to the W. Whereas with Collier, I mean, she's been so dynamic for the Lynx. I mean, she kind of, in a way, this might sound blasphemous, she does remind me of Maya Moore a little bit. So, I mean, I like what I've seen out of her. That, yeah, I would give her the edge over that. I would put Angel 3rd and then Stewie 4th. I know that's controversial. That's not like something y'all are going to agree with, but that's my opinion. And that's the way I see it. I mean, Angel was that much of a difference maker. I'm not the one that's going to look at the statistics and be like, oh, she didn't get 20 points per game. But the intangible she brought to the table, what she was able to do for the Chicago Sky, like to deliver and to make them a contender, I was really impressed by her. And I've seen enough of her games to know the kind of things she can do to make that Sky team a contending team for many years to come. So
So she
that's where I
played
come.
but she played 34 or 40 games this year. And when she went down, they were 12 and 22, tied for 8th place. Like, that's not really contention. I mean, Fee and Stewie led their teams to 30 plus wins. That's just, I don't know. I just can't see Angel Reese getting a 3rd place vote, let alone a 4th place vote, you know?
I can see
I
it getting
mean,
the 4th place after
But
all the
you
other
agree
reasons
with
why I
Caitlin
talked
Clark
about.
being
But
getting
the
fourth
but
vote?
the I hear you on the other part.
Go ahead,
I
Randy.
we talked about this, Jordan, but I hear what you're saying. You already know every point I made for Angel Reese, which wasn't said. But what were you gonna say, Randy?
No, I'm asking because where would do you agree with Caitlin Clark's positioning, Jordan?
Do you?
No, I'm asking Jordan.
yes, I do. No higher, no lower.
Let's
So better than Alyssa Thomas, better than Sabrina, better than NECA.
Yes. The only one, no. Yeah. I would leave her exactly where she's at.
Yeah, I can't agree with it.
Where
So
would
who
you
would
put
you?
Caitlin
Yeah,
Clark?
where would you put her?
She's had a good rookie year, but like better than Sabrina.
Well, the other thing with some of these players, and that's what I was mentioning with Angel, the case for Angel. We're gonna open up the lines in a minute, y'all. So y'all can request in like a few minutes. Is they have multiple teammates on this roster. So, like for example, Brianna Stewart's at 3, Sabrina, and you got John Quell. So they got 3 players in MVP, right?
Right.
Even Kelsey and Caitlin are both there. Again, and this was I was saying the case for Angel. Asia Wilson and Angel Reese are 2 of the few. And Angel Reese is again, she broke her record this year, Jordan. So
Yeah.
you keep that in mind. Again, even
Kelsey
Alyssa
Mitchell's on
Thomas
that
has
list as well.
Dewana Bonner. McBride has Fee. So it's like, okay. NECA,
Caitlin
like
Clark
there's only a
has
handful.
Kelsey Mitchell.
Right. I agree. She got Kelsey Mitchell got a 3rd place vote. Yes. That's what I'm saying. So look, they agree. They feel like Angel also deserved the. Oh, I agree. I feel like Angel deserved a vote, Jordan. I mean, I already told you that yesterday, but I feel like she deserved a vote. Thomas is way more than Bonner. I don't. Yeah, at least he's the. Well, again, now I agree with this list, but what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say? Because you said you feel like some of the other people could go above them, and that's fine if you feel like that.
Yeah, I just like, for example, Arika had a great season this year, but because of the overall play of her team, people weren't going to talk about her in the MVP conversation as much. If they were winning, it would have been a difference, but it didn't make a difference. But because Caitlin's team is winning and now they're in the playoff contention, now she's in the conversation.
Clark shoots, she scores.
Huh?
I said on Clark shoot, she scores.
Yeah,
Y'all I'm gonna make sure I have a Clark centric episode. It's gonna be a straight Clark centric episode. That's what we're gonna do. All right, you can keep going on.
No, I'm just saying it just doesn't. It doesn't if you're gonna have Caitlin at number 4, Arika has to be higher up that list because she had a great season, she played her ass off, but her team didn't produce.
Yeah.
It's under the same scale that you're judging Caitlin's team off of. But they a few people. She has Aaliyah Boston. They Kelsey Mitchell. They won a few more games. So
yeah,
it just doesn't make sense for. I get it. Like she's probably gonna win Rookie of the Year, obviously, right? But to be 4th on the overall list, no.
Yep. I mean, yeah, I hear you. That's why I disagree with you, Jordan. I'll absolutely get her a vote. Like I disagree on that point alone. Like I think she deserves a vote, at least a vote. At least a vote for sure. I disagree with that part. At least that much. But Angel. I'll read this last comment, I guess, and if y'all had any closing thoughts, that's time. And everybody on TikTok, I guess I'll open up the lines for y'all. It said Angel deserved the vote because this guy did much better with her on the court. That was my case exactly. You saw the plus minuses. You saw it the on off. You saw the shooting splits. You saw everything got better when she was on the floor, and it goes back to what I speak about with intangibles, and this validates what she's doing. Hey, look, because some people could just say, "Hey, look at this," but it's like you need to actually validate what you're saying. So, with that being said, it's like you can see that her impact is beyond immeasurable, which is why she's number 12 in efficiency in this league, even with her deficiencies. So, just keep that in mind. And again, 17th in defensive rating. Like these things are not to be like just poo-pooed. So
Jimbar pop quiz. How is defensive rating calculated?
you tell me. Why don't you?
I
Tell
don't
me?
know. I don't know. What does it even mean? Is it like a Madden rating?
Madden rating.
So they
He didn't
take
go
up. They take
there.
up every. They take up. What were you gonna say?
If I were gonna take a guess, it would probably be like
Because that could be a
someone's
quick fix.
efficiency levels against you. Like how many times are you forcing someone to go left or right, or you're forcing them to take multiple dribbles, forcing them to pass out, like because I got actually a question. I was thinking because it's obvious, like if you could take one attribute of Caitlin Clark and provide it to Angel Reese, it would be the offensive game, right? That's obvious, or at least in my opinion, it would be the shooting. But what game of Angel Reese would you, what aspect of her game would you give to Caitlin Clark if you could?
You mean like
Probably.
if you're gonna count motor? If you're gonna count motor, I would say motor. But are you gonna say
That's
motor?
I think that's the easy one, motor or rebounding. But I
It would
think
be rebound. It would be
I
motor.
think I would want attitude because Caitlin Clark is such a
Swagger.
because when her shot's not falling, it's oh my
Mhm.
god, it's like all this stuff. Like I hate seeing that.
What were you gonna say,
Mhm.
Brandon?
Okay, so I was just asking that question. Like, if you could give Caitlin Clark an attribute of Angel Reese, you both gave answers that I would have alluded to. Because if you guys played or done anything, it's always easy to work with somebody who's like, come on, guys, someone who's encouraging. Like, we can do this. A positive attitude. Man, there's such a dark cloud when you watch Caitlin play and she's missing. It's all of a sudden like it's like a negative energy, and that's contagious. If you're gonna play like that, get your ass off the court, bro, and sit on the bench. Because I'd rather somebody you can shoot 1,000 bricks and be like, bro, my bad, I'm missing. I'm gonna try to. You're still looking for a way to win. When Caitlin Clark isn't hitting them jump shots, my brother, it's.
Let me ask you this. Better question. Let me ask you this a better question.
It's true.
It is true, and it's okay. But let me ask you a better question. Name the athlete that you watch that's been a major athlete. I'm talking about. So I want you to again put yourselves in the position of, hey, ever since I've been a kid, I've been great. I'm talking about the LeBrons. I'm talking about the Kobe's, right? The Kevin Garnett's, the Dirk Nowitzki's, the Dwayne Wade's. When they play basketball, and we could just speak about basketball. If you want to speak about Odell Beckham's, if you want to bring up another sport, the John McEnroe's, right? The Mike Tyson. Pick an athlete. Which athlete is satisfied when they're performing terribly? Which athlete is happy that they're not playing at the level that they know that they're capable of? Which athlete says, hey, I'm going to bust my ass, do this, this, and this, and then in front of millions of people who are watching me, I'm feeling good knowing that I'm playing like dog blank, right? So tell me, why would she be like great or whoever? Pick the athlete, because that's why I don't get mad when I see it from Kobe. I don't get mad when I see it from because I understand what you know what I'm saying. I understand. So it's like who wants to feel like I understand what you're saying, because obviously you don't want it to permeate through the team, and not every single athlete does it. But there's a reason why not every single athlete does it, right? It's only the ones that I mentioned for the most part. It is only the ones that I mentioned for the most part. Some of them also have egos that are not as good and talented that also have this type of attitude where you're like, okay, we can't tolerate it. But if you're putting up the numbers, and if you're good enough and you're validating it, you know what you want your players to come up on a level and an expectation that, hey, we want to win. And I know I'm not playing well, but I'll let y'all go with you. I hear what you're saying though, Randy.
It's because this is not a solo sport. When Tiger Woods misses a putt, he gets all pissed off, or when Djokovic misses a shot, he gets pissed off. Like if someone doesn't cut and she throws a bounce pass and it goes out of bounds, like she's like showing up her teammate. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Or
I don't
I
know
mean,
that. Yeah,
but like she does that a lot, or when she throws a pass ahead and they don't catch it. You know, like it's like she's showing them up. Or what's the other one that she does? It's I mean like no one yells at her when she misses a defensive assignment or gets beat off the dribble. You know, like which is I mean that's just what I mean. I see all that stuff. I don't like it. That's all.
yeah.
I would say this. This past playoff run, Anthony Edwards, his team wasn't necessarily showing up for him, but that attitude towards the end of it was like, you know what, I just got to figure it out. We have to come together. We got to figure it out, right? Jordan said Jokic. Bro, Jokic had games where he wasn't playing well at all. He would do this, but he would also, that didn't stop him from communicating. He it's different from when you beat yourself up versus when you
beat up your teammate. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a huge difference, because like I've seen players mess up, and it's granted it's not their fault, but they're still like they'll give you that point from down the court and be like, yo, that's my fault. I let it go too early, right? But you don't look at your other person who's already, you're both in the same boat. You're both sinking. You're both down, playing a great team. You're both in your ass cooked right now.
Thinking.
I'm not gonna look at you and be like, bro, you suck. No, I'm not doing that. Well, granted, look, I'm not gonna lie. I've done it. Like, bro, you got to look in another direction, right? That's why I said Anthony Edwards is a great example. His shot wasn't hitting. So what did he do? He played more defense. He passed the ball more, and he attacked the rim a whole lot more. Certain things you expect from a high caliber player, right? And especially if your IQ's there, you know, it's the intangibles. When your offensive game isn't hitting, you have to give in a little bit more in your defensive game, because that's where you transition into your offense. So
emotional intelligence.
Again, I'm gonna agree with Jordan. You have to, like, unfortunately, bro, you can go 0 for 10. But what did he do defensively? He gave up on defensively too, because there's two sides of the ball.
Right.
Like, come on.
Yeah, they got smacked though. What are you gonna say, Rob?
What do you think she's saying?
Who?
Caitlin Clark, when she's all like this, oh no, Melissa, this is why you're not on the team next year, Melissa.
Right?
F-bombs. You know what I'm saying?
Freedom fries.
I'm about to LeBron you. You're getting traded.
I don't give a fuck. Call the truck and foul. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm all for it though. I've
heard her say like you can't be serious.
Right. I don't care when none of them do it. Paul, I don't care. I do not care. I don't, honestly. I could care less.
I think to their point, to what Jordan and Randy said, yeah, I mean, she played really great during the Natties. She'll get like 20, 30 points. But as they pointed out, and I'm just going to echo it, so I'm probably beating a dead horse. It's a case where it's not an individual sport. It's a team sport. And if she's getting all the points, but no one else is contributing, and she's getting frustrated, the body language is there, and she's lacking the emotional maturity and intelligence. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna bring other people down. I mean, I don't want to throw the Dallas Wings under the bus, but I kind of sense that too, covering the team this year. And that's the one criticism I'll have is like, you know, certain players. I don't want to name names personally, but when I watch games, like, yeah, certain players would perform, but like you could feel like the frustration that if they were falling, you know, more than 8 points in a game, like everyone kind of gives up. They just kind of like, to hell with it. I don't give a flying rats. You know what? You know, like to hell with it. And yeah, I mean, Caitlin is obviously very competitive. I think that's all we're all wanting to say. I've seen this too from people like Tom Brady, where he'll have a really crappy game. He'll throw something, but the difference is, you know, he'll get mad at one moment, then he'll realize, oh shit, you know, I'm not playing my best quarterback, you know, stuff right now. You know what I have to do? I'm going to give the ball to my running back. I'll do a screen pass. He adjusts. It's all about adjustments. So Caitlin may not be shooting from downtown. She may not be shooting from downtown, but she's got to be like, all right, let me do my assist. If I'm getting turnovers, all right, let me try to do. Doesn't matter, because I mean they still got crushed yesterday. So
that's
I mean,
my point.
the thing,
what you're saying is, if you just said it, if she's not doing this, do that. She had 8 assists and like 2 turnovers, and then the other thing, it was like she wasn't shooting well, so she tried to get to the rim. But you're right, Rob. What I'm saying is I agree with you. I'm saying I agree with you because of everything of what you just said, because of the adjustment that she had to make by being guarded by a taller player, which I knew was going to happen. I was saying Angel Reese is going to be guarding her soon as well. I said they're going to put a bigger forward on her. So what I'm saying is I do agree with what you're saying, Rob. You can keep going, but yes, that was the point. I'm like, she's going to have to adjust. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like I do.
And she will.
The game of basketball is intangible, bro. You do not feel it, but you feel the energy when you play like
the intangible.
You could feel when the person who's passing you the ball wants you to play well, or when they're passing you the ball because you're a last minute decision. You could feel stuff like that.
Honestly,
it feels a lot better when you're getting the ball because they want you to willingly get the ball and make a move, rather than they're like, well, you're my last option. Here, you figure you could. That stuff is important when, like, for example, when Angel misses and she gets her own rebound and she misses the second and she gets fouled. Everyone does that clap or that you could tell us that let me hone into my focus. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna look for somebody to blame or I'm just gonna throw my hands up. It's just like, no, I want to be better. I gotta be better. I know that I'm better. You can see the difference in the focus.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
Yeah,
that's why the Fever teammates love Lexi Hall, because she plays all the defense that Caitlin Clark doesn't, and she's such a good teammate. You know, like, I mean, she's such a good foil for those Fever teammates to Caitlin Clark. You know,
and that energy is a lot more receptive and transferable rather than that. Like, get that away from me.
It's the West Coast vibes.
I don't want none of that.
Spokane, Washington.
And those are my closing thoughts, Jabari.
Closing thoughts.
Oh my God. Jordan.
Y'all up. Anyone who wants to go, y'all are up. If y'all those
closing thoughts?
Yeah, go for it. Fire away.
Well, Fever fans, don't be depressed if they don't win their game 2. Yeah, they're probably going to be packing up and probably going to spend some money at the casino afterwards and maybe watch a concert after the game. It's okay. Or if they don't like Mohegan Sun, they can go to Foxwoods. But no, listen, I think we're still in for some good basketball. So I know we have a lot of new fans, Caitlin Clark fans, of course, Angel Reese fans. And if Caitlin does not, and her team doesn't make it, right? Don't just be like, all right, to hell with it. We're done. We're not going to watch the games. Go and do yourself that's a disservice to the game if you care about it. So go watch every matchup, study these games, look at these different players that are going to break out during this postseason. Because I'm telling you, the Dallas Wings, the team I'm covering, they're not in it. But you know what? I'm still watching. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a great time, and I'm learning a lot about the different trends of players and all that. So, like, if you say that you are an ardent enthusiast of women's basketball, it's not everybody watches Caitlin Clark. It's everybody watches women's sports. You should back that up by actually watching these different games. So that's my closing thoughts.
Women's sports, I've been watching them. Yeah, it's the WNBA. My closing thoughts are this. Randy, if you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first. I got 2 closing thoughts. The first one, next year is going to be a dangerous year. I feel like a lot of people are going to go into the off season and really sharpen their tools. Granted, they do, a lot of players do go overseas, but next year is a different year. And I will say, in Asia we trust. I'll finish off with that.
And then I'll say Falcor said, Rob, that was a very good statement on watching women's hoops overall. And I'll say this. So speaking about that, I guess my closing thoughts are, this is going to be a great playoff. Kind of alluding to what Rob was saying. So if you don't watch the WNBA, it's a great time to watch it. If you're a casual, you get to learn. I mean, if you're a casual fan, like, you get to learn about a lot of great players. We're gonna see some of the best basketball. I would still bet my money on the Vegas Aces. If you got a salary or you're trying to win some money, still bet on Asia. Shout out to her, second ever unanimous MVP. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, bet on them bases. And I guess my closing thoughts are just, I'm not gonna say go Sky, go Aces, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm saying that for book, but we'll see how that goes. But Aces, y'all hopefully y'all get it done and y'all make my prediction right against Minnesota. I say that. And with that being said, that's episode 31.
Sound like we took a win from underneath your wings, bro.
You said what now?
Okay. You took the win from underneath your wings, talking about Caitlin like that. Your energy changed.
I got some bonus closing thoughts. Shout out to Barry University, the home of Dr. Shaquille O'Neal, his alma mater.
That's it.
Dr. Shaq.
El Portal.
We live
Shout
on
out to
TikTok.
Falcor
Yo.
for consistently watching and being here with us, man.
Ghost Pizza Country, thank you for joining us. Everybody on TikTok. Yep, yeah, y'all can hop on in, join on in. We'll chat. We're gonna be on live on TikTok. Yeah, appreciate everybody. Jordan, Rob. Oh, you have something to say, Rob?
Oh no, I'm just waving goodbye to the fans. We'll be back.
Rob, Randy, deuces,
Peace.
y'all. Appreciate you.